Hi, everybody. Welcome to Queers and Soaps. My name is Derek, and today I'm joined by Karen.
Hello.
Happy 4th of July. We are recording this on the 4th of July, but it probably will not be released till Sunday. But happy 4th of July weekend to everybody. So this week we are discussing episodes that aired between June 30th and July 3rd, 2025. Tommy, roll the credits, and we'll get right into it. So, interesting week. Not a great week.
What are you talking about? It was a great week. You're insane.
It was weird. It was a weird week. I don't want to say it was good. It was weird to me.
I thought it was a great week, and I thought Friday's episode was awesome. It was a lot of fun. I had a good time. I don't know where you were.
I guess, well, the Sunny focus was kind of throwing me off. And then just like, I don't know. There were a couple, like, I had such a hard time, like, with certain things. And I was like, okay. It was,
All right. What things did you have a hard time with? Tell me.
just the plot inconsistencies that were happening.
Oh, yeah. Like Lucas could magically teleport. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
You know, I'd be upset about it, except for that episode where Bobby got from Holland to Canada and Carly got from Canada. Like they were all bopping around the globe, and it was 10 minutes each.
Yeah, teleporting is a thing, I guess. And
listen, Port Charles is 3 hours from everywhere. Did you not know that?
Yeah, apparently it's only an hour from Landview, but it's actually like 5.
Which is in Pennsylvania, right?
Yeah, it's in Philadelphia suburbs.
Okay, yeah. So it's like what? Yeah, but Pine Valley is right next to Landview.
Yeah,
and yet Port Charles is close enough to drive to Landview, which is, I mean, typical for Americans. We'll drive 8 hours. We don't care.
Actually, upstate New York is probably about 5 hours away from the Philadelphia suburbs.
It's a plane ride to New York. It's at least an hour plane ride to New York. You want to compare that? It's a 2-hour plane ride to Florida. So how can they drive there so fast?
No,
so that I really didn't worry about. I just assume everybody who lives in the neighborhood lives 2 minutes from the hospital. That's just.
Plus, Lulu's writing for the Banner, which is in Landview, which doesn't make any sense. Why would they care about what's happening in Port Charles? Like,
I think it's more like she writes freelance articles for them, so she probably does that all remotely. Like, listen, I will always crap on her writing career. Because one day she woke up and she was like, I'm a writer now. And like, that's just really sucks for everybody else who spent years of their lives trying to break into writing. It's not an easy industry to get into.
Mm-hmm.
It's also soap. But like, just the way she woke up one day and she was a fantastic journalist the next day, like, she never even wrote a diary. Like, when did she ever have an interest in writing?
But I agree with you. Thursday's episode was really good. There were some good things that happened.
Thursday, that's right. It's Friday. Yeah. I'm off because, Steve Rogers' birthday.
I just couldn't get past some of the glitches, so it was kind of like it affected the way I felt about the week.
You were focusing too hard on the editing this week.
I'm a continuity person. That's just.
Ooh, well, you're going to suffer watching General Hospital then, because there is no continuity. I would actually go so far as to say that General Hospital has no canon anymore, because like they're constantly rewriting the past and into something that's unrecognizable. People, we can watch the past.
Mm-hmm.
We can get episodes. We can see it. Those of us were there for the 80s and 90s. You can't just walk in and say all these characters were different people. We were there. We're old. We've been watching forever.
Yeah. I've been watching for over 30 years on and off, but yeah, it's been a long time.
Even when I was a kid, my mom's been watching since before I was born, both One Life to Live and General Hospital. So it was always on in my house. So you can't like turn around to me and be like, this happened in 85. And I'm like, no, it didn't. It wasn't a large enough gap for that to have happened between, the spaces that are there. So, but whatever. So like, you're going to go insane, dude.
Yeah. So we'll start where we left off with Natalia. Natalia is out. She's sitting in the pew. She's looking at Sunny, glaring at him. Sunny takes her outside and says she shouldn't be there. Natalia fires back that she's supposed to be on a plane with her. And Sunny is very confused about this, as were we.
Because of her delusionalness, yeah.
Yeah, but he ends up being nice about it and apologizing for the confusion. But he made it clear that his life is in Port Charles. Natalia complains about not having any family or friends to go with her and everything that he arranged for her. But Sonny has his henchmen drag her away.
I would have been so sad for her, except she was getting a free house in Belize.
Mm-hmm.
She was never going to have to work again. And her children hate her anyway. So just get married, have another kid, move on with your day.
Yeah.
She already crapped on all of her connections in Port Charles. What is she supposed to, why does she care if Sonny goes with her or not?
Yeah. So we're in Natalia's suite now. The henchman waits outside, claims she wants to get a shower and finish packing. Natalia is clearly not having a good day at all, and she starts down pills and I guess she's drinking vodka, downing a bottle of vodka.
Yeah. But when you get to alcoholic level, most likely you start.
Right. So then we're at Carly's house, and Lucas is cooking dinner for Marco. Natalia's
is he that? Because Lucas can't cook.
Yeah. Maybe he ordered takeout and pretended to
cook. He ordered literally everything to make dinner.
Oh,
he didn't know how to make the dinner.
He didn't assemble it. Yeah, he has to assemble it. Okay.
Marco was cooking. He invited Marco over and put him to work.
Yeah, so Marco comes over, and
no one in that house can cook. It's a shame.
It is a shame. He even made a comment that Carly's appliances are almost like never used.
No, because she can't cook. Remember, she famously, when she was pregnant, all she ever wanted was junk food and potato chips. Mm-hmm. And Sonny cannot get over this because Sonny cooks stuff from scratch. He's got your basic Italian menu going on. Like he's always making all these fancy dinners. And Carly's like, I would like ice cream and potato chips.
Yeah. So Natalia starts texting gibberish to Marco because she's drunk. And Marco knows that Natalia's supposed to be leaving town and is reaching out. And Lucas suggests that it might be Marco's last chance to see his mom. So he thinks he should go see her. Marco texts back that he's on his way, but Natalia is passing out on the couch due to all the pills and booze she just consumed.
Yeah, I think she accidentally killed herself.
I agree. I don't think she did it intentionally.
Yeah, she did not mean to. I think she was so depressed that she thought the antidepressants would help, but she kept mixing them with more and more alcohol, and that's never going to be a good outcome.
Yeah, your brain is going to shut down.
But also, those text messages, they were not kidding. That was so garbled. I would have been like, what? Because she said, I'm sorry. And she typed, I am someone. And like, how is he supposed to make sense of any of that? And Marco was a delight because he just kept going, she's drunk and she does this. And it's such a shame for him.
So we're back at the church. There were plenty of questions about Natalia, but the christening moves forward and everyone's gathered. Mac shows up, but it was nice to see him come in. I was excited to see Mac.
No lines, though.
No, he didn't have any lines. At least he was there, though.
I'll take what I can get.
Yeah. So Chase steps away to give ADA Turner updates on the phone. Chase shares the news that Natalia showed up at the christening and spoke with Sonny, and Brooklyn confronts him about this. And however, Chase says he can't get into details and he has to keep his marriage separate from what's going on in his career. So,
except he was at a family function.
He was
when he did that, and he was not on the clock. So, I don't know how I feel about it.
Officer, you always have to.
And this is why you don't date cops.
Yeah.
What if you want to do illegal things and your cop husband is going to rat you out?
Yeah. So we're at Anna's office. Turner questions about whether Sonny was really outsmarting the cops and Anna's been looking the other way. Anna says that they should be working together and expresses her disapproval again of returning, keeping her on the dark on her latest investigation into Sonny. So this week we're kind of just going in order of events because I feel like that was a better way to recap it this week.
It's also very interconnected this week, so it would be confusing if you hop back and forth.
It was very interconnected.
I did love that Anna just kept saying, why don't you contact Internal Affairs if you don't trust me?
Yeah. So we have, we're back to Curtis, Jordan, and Portia. Jordan had just walked in on Curtis and Portia having a passionate moment, which Portia arranged. Which I kind of had a feeling she did, and because Curtis quickly pieced together.
So what, Team Portia?
Yeah. So and Portia confirmed this right away. Portia insists that Jordan wants Curtis back and she needs to know that this is happening. Portia accused Jordan of trying to take advantage of their situation in their marriage, and Curtis viewed Portia as the manipulative one instead, which I knew he would. Portia is still scheming and doing things to try to push them apart, according to Curtis. So Curtis brought up the fact that Jordan lied too, and Curtis pointed out that she lied as well. So they just go back and forth about this. It's getting really old and annoying, in my opinion. But
I just feel like Ava was right. If you can't tell your husband the truth without him judging you this harshly, then his standards are too high and you're never going to be happy.
yeah,
So I go with Ava on this one. I think this marriage is dead, and I think his relationship with Jordan should be dead, and they should move him on.
yeah, absolutely.
I love Curtis, but this is his one flaw. This righteousness he feels, it's just, I hate it.
Jordan eventually makes her way into Anna's office, and she talks about what Portia did and what she saw. And although Jordan doesn't plan on destroying Curtis' marriage, she thinks that Portia's schemes are going to accomplish that on their own.
Who cares? Jordan, you are so beautiful. Move on.
Yeah, you can find Isaiah. What's wrong? I don't get it.
Isaiah, he's too like, I need to protect you. Jordan was the police commissioner. She doesn't need a man to protect her.
You're right. Since Jordan didn't think Curtis could fix things with Portia, she decides that she needs to move forward, which is a great move on her part. I hope she does. This leaves Anna wondering what Jordan needs for herself. So she calls Jordan calls Curtis, and Portia is not surprised about this. It continues to ring, and Portia tells Curtis he should be fighting for their marriage. So we're back with Anna. Anna was once again alone, and 88 Turner returned and tried to push her to get a APB out on Natalia, who is about to flee Port Charles, and it's their best chance to nail Sonny. So
which Anna does.
Yeah,
like Anna does it immediately. Like 88 Turner is just like, you won't do it, and she's like, okay, and then sets an APB.
Right. So we're back at the Quarterly Mansion now after the christening. Sasha lets Jason hold the baby and asks if he wanted Daisy to call him Uncle Jason, and Jason says that's fine.
No, he said Jason is fine, just Jason.
Oh, Jason, that's right. He said Jason.
Yeah, because he's technically great Uncle Jason.
He is, yes. So Christina ends up getting a call from her manager because he cannot work he or she, whoever it is, cannot work their shift. So the person bails out on the gathering. So she bails out on the gathering and goes to open up Charlie's.
It's mostly over.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, some masked men are covering Charlie's in gasoline right before Christina arrives. Christina arrives, but she doesn't seem to smell the gasoline. Dude. She has to reach down on the floor and make sure it's gasoline.
I realize we're in a visual medium, but if you opened that door and did not notice your entire bar smelled like gasoline, what are you cleaning your bar with?
Yeah, that's one of the things. That was another glitch that I was like, well, how does she not smell the gasoline?
It's a visual medium. They have to do a visual thing. I know. It's just how it is. You're being like, this is real life. It's not.
I know it's not real life.
If it was real life, everyone on this show would be in prison and we'd be watching General Penitentiary.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know. What is the device called that they used that came through the window? What was that device called?
Was it a Molotov cocktail? What you mean?
Cocktail, yeah. It came. Someone smashes it through the window.
Yeah, it was a Molotov cocktail. It's just an alcohol with a lit piece in, so you can throw it.
Okay, that's what it was. Okay,
that's what protesters use when they're violent.
So the place is ignited in flames, and then Christina watches. Shockingly, she tries to use a fire extinguisher to put it out, but the place is covered in gasoline, Christina. This fire extinguisher is not going to work.
It was funny because it was a baby fire extinguisher. It was the one that's this big. It wasn't the big one. So it was even if she knew everything was soaked in gasoline, but she thought I could put it out.
Meanwhile, Marco's in his car and he sees the fire from a distance. So he starts to run towards the building. He sees Christina. He rescues Christina and suddenly remembers that they can go out the back door.
Here's the thing. He rescued her by reminding her that she has other doors.
Yes, he did.
And then they ran out. It was so crazy.
How did she not run? I don't understand why she didn't run out the back door.
I don't know. Maybe some people freeze in crazy situations.
Maybe she thought that like she was like just in shock and didn't even think about
I
it.
I was like, Julian's bar. Like, let's wreck another set. No.
Yeah. So up at Windermere, Sidwell witnesses the fire, and he makes a phone call to tell whoever he started the fire that the job was done, and he's happy about it. So Alexis then shows up and insists on vetting some legal fillings related to Sidwell's account, which Marco was handling. Sidwell grumbles over it being a waste of time and felt that Alexis didn't trust Marco because he's his father.
And Alexis is like, no, I'm a really good lawyer, so sit down, shut up, and let's go through the paperwork.
Basically, yeah. So we're at the Quarterly Mansion. Sasha's really nervous about letting Daisy go. Someone's taking Daisy. Carly was going to take Daisy upstairs to her crib, and she opted to keep her in the living room in her bassinet because she still thinks someone might be watching over her, or she thinks something suspicious is going on.
She's not wrong. It's just I feel like her reasoning isn't solid to me. Like, I just keep thinking, well, yeah, but there's 87 people in that house. Anyone could have changed the baby.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Yeah, anybody could
have thought about it. Like, the Quartermains, like they're like they all take care of each other's children all the time, so they wouldn't even have thought anything of like Olivia walking in there and changing the baby.
Yeah.
What was she supposed to do? Tag in and be like, I changed the baby, Sasha. Do not worry. She is now in pink.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, she is being creeped on.
Yeah. So the news comes over the phone about Charlie's, and Jason and Sonny take off. Molly ends up showing up late and hands a gift to Michael and admires the baby. Molly gets a phone call about the fire alarm at Charlie's, and she freaks out that Christina might be in danger because Michael told her that Christina had to go into work. Cody ends up driving Molly over to the bar. Molly calls Alexis about the fire, and while she's at Sidwell's, and Alexis panics, and Sidwell's also alarmed to find out that Christina was in the fire because that's not what he intended. And he calls someone over the phone, and he says that no one was supposed to be there. How could you do this? The place was supposed to be empty. So at Carly's, Jocelyn gives Lucas updates on Natalia being at the christening earlier. He tells her there's leftovers, and I think that's all that happened with that.
They were just having a cute moment. Like, they were just catching up, and she was like, oh, did you have a date? And she said she left Kai and Trina alone so that they could have some time by themselves.
Right. So meanwhile, Chase brings an officer with him to Natalia's room. And Sonny's henchman is on at this point. Chase catches a glimpse of the guy leaving, and he bangs on Natalia's door, but there is no answer. Anna then shows up and goes inside with Chase, and Natalia is unresponsive on the sofa after her overdose. Chase and Anna consider the possibility that Natalia tried to kill herself, or the fact that this whole thing could have been staged.
They provide no medical care,
and
then they call an ambulance, which I assume provided no medical care, and then they took her to the hospital where she received weak CPR from Elizabeth, but no monitoring, no IVs, no nothing. There was no chance. I'm assuming they walked in that room and she was cold.
Because they didn't do anything.
And I'm like, this is General Hospital. Nobody thought, let's give her some like epi. Let's give her something.
I don't know CPR. I'm sure. Like, why wouldn't she try to revive her?
Somebody had to know CPR. Like, I mean, I guess law enforcement agents they don't have to do anything for you, but you would at least check her airway to see if she was constricted or if she was breathing.
Mm-hmm.
They did nothing. And then she was dead.
Right.
This was like, I know she's supposed to die, obviously, because we all can't stand her. But like, I was just like, just a little bit of medical stuff on the medical show, please.
Right. So Anna wants us to check the security footage to see the guy that was outside Natalia's room. Natalia is rushed to GH, where Elizabeth and Isaiah try to revive her, but they can't. The time of death is called. Liz calls Lucas, hoping he'd be with Marco, but Lucas comes to the hospital very quickly, by the way.
we don't know what the timeline is. We don't know how long it took Marco to get to the bar. We don't really know when the bar let on. We have no timeline.
Right. Time is weird in General Hospital.
Yeah, it just seems to all be happening and not happening at the same time. It's very short.
Right. So Marco So let's see. He's puzzled that Marco isn't at Natalia's by now. So Lex is wondering where he is. So we're outside the pub, and Dante sees Christina and Marco and she's being checked out by the paramedics, and she lets them know about the fire, which he probably already knew about. Sonny and Jason show up, and they immediately question why Marco was there. Christina tells them that Marco saved her, and Sonny and Marco still seem suspicious of each other. So Marco doesn't want to go to the hospital, but Dante convinces him to go. Marco finally arrives at GH, and he finds out that Natalia has been brought in and flipped out. Marco took off running and cried at the sight of Natalia dead in her hospital bed. That was a really great scene, by the way. He did a really great job.
It was cool because Cody shows up and just drives everyone everywhere because no one can drive. Christina's upset, Marco's upset, Molly's upset, and Cody's just like, I can drive everybody everywhere. And I like how Cody's suddenly in a lot more scenes because I like him. Marco crying over Natalia it was sad. It was really sad and upsetting and complicated because of his feelings for her. So I love that.
Yeah. Molly is relieved when she sees Christina is okay outside the pub. Christina only has some smoke inhalation, some minor burns, so she assures Molly that she's going to be fine. So Alexis then arrives, and she also gets reassurance that Christina is okay, but she blows up at Sonny, and that was a great scene as well.
Love it. Love it. Everyone telling Sonny he sucks this week. Awesome. Favorite thing ever.
Alexis says she refuses to bury another daughter. Laser Gron killed it in that scene again, as usual. But all right, let's see.
That's nothing new. Anytime Alexis is on, you're like, Nancy Lee Gron's killing it. She always kills it.
Christina convinces Alexis to come with her to the hospital, and Molly agrees to come too, and Cody drove them, as you mentioned.
Yep, Cody drives everybody.
So the firefighter eventually speaks to Dante about determining the cause and he has determined that the cause of the fire was arson.
How?
Yeah, I don't know how he found out.
Oh, there was absolutely no investigation. Were there like cans outside that said arson's gas cans?
I guess it's the gasoline. I don't know what he was thinking.
I don't feel like you could say it was arson 5 minutes after it. I think that would be an investigation.
Right.
Unless there was such obvious burn patterns, or maybe Christina just said, hey, someone threw a Molotov cocktail through the window and my place burned down. That would be...
Maybe that's what happened.
Why did they need to say, we think it was arson? Come on.
Another plot inconsistency why I had so many issues with this week.
I didn't care. The bar burned down. It was dope.
Good, yeah. But I'm a writer, so plot is very important to me.
How dare you?
But it doesn't affect my love for the show. I still love it.
It does not. If it did, you would have given up a long time ago, because there are some eras of this series where it was like the writers showed up high.
So we're back with Jocelyn. She's surprised when Brennan shows up at Carly's house. Brennan speaks to Jocelyn about WSB matters very briefly, and she suspects that he's hoping he runs into Carly. So Brendan makes it clear that his personal relationship has nothing to do with their work arrangement.
Blah, 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 lies.
However, Jocelyn wonders if the higher-ups knew Brendan was dating the mother of one of his recruits. Carly then walks in on the tense moment, and Jocelyn downplays it and makes an excuse, and then she ends up leaving. This gives Carly a chance to lean on Brendan over the fire she heard about, and it's bringing back a lot of traumatic Michael.
Yes, because if you are related to Sonny, you are most likely going to get murdered in some sort of violent way.
Yes. So back at the Porter mansion, Michael receives word that Christina is okay, and he needs a drink after this mess. But since he took a pain pill early, he can't have alcohol. So Sasha didn't realize that Michael was still struggling with his injury.
Funny. Sasha's like, I can't believe you're still in pain. That guy was lit on fire and went to Germany for recovery.
He's burned on what percent? Like 75% of his body?
Yeah, it's really hard to survive that amount, actually. They usually end up cutting you open because your skin shrinks. It's a whole horrible thing that they could have done on this medical.
But when he had his shirt off later, he looked great. Like he's still.
Oh yeah, it just seems like he's perfectly healed on the outside. Maybe he's still a little crispy critter on the inside.
Yeah, who knows?
Maybe he's wearing like fake skin. That would be cool.
Yeah. Michael couldn't bear the thought of Christina going through the same thing he did. Michael assures Sasha that in a lot of ways he wasn't like Sonny, so Sasha gets him the promise that nothing's going to happen to his own kids.
Yeah, that'll work.
That's something he cannot promise. So,
He's still a Quartermain. He's still a
mhm,
target, just not as big of a target.
mhm. So another highlight this week is we got to see Helena. Selena, however, it's probably going to be her last appearance for a while.
No, no, it's
Not
not.
fun.
No, it's not. It's not going to be her last appearance.
I hope, I mean, just for a while, not forever. But Sidwell summons her to Windermere, and he warns her that she's about to go to war with Sunny. The firebombing at Charlie's club will be traced to Selena's associates, so Selena realizes that he set her up. Selena argues that she could just tell Sunny about Sidwell's scheme, but he suspects Sunny would kill her before she even has a chance to tell him. So Sidwell implies that Sunny would ultimately find that more evidence against her. So I think he even used Selena's own men to set the fire.
Doesn't matter because when they talk about it later, they're both like, Sidwell did it. Yeah, Sidwell did
Yeah,
it.
they know.
So like this is there's no payoff to this.
Right, like they don't believe Selena did it. So
Why would they? They have a good thing going with Selena. They've been working together for a
years,
while now. She
years.
even turned in other mob members to
And
Sunny.
exactly, and she even saved Jason and Carly on their wedding day.
Yeah, doesn't
So
make sense because Selena's not stupid. All her moves are calculated and
Selena has done
intelligent.
everything she
So
can to stay in Sunny's good graces, like
yeah,
forever. So it doesn't make any sense. So Sidwell does push Selena into leaving town, and Selena says she has to stay away until Sunny either goes to jail or dies. So
yeah, because she wouldn't be able to come back if he believes that she made an attempt on one of his children. He goes crazy when you do that.
oh yeah, but Sunny and Jason don't believe it, so it should be fine. So Alexis is flustered about Christina's ordeal and struggles to fill out her paperwork, but she's pleased to see Molly bonding with her sister at her hospital bed.
Nice that Deanna was there today
Yeah.
to help her with the paperwork and also to be another nurse at the hospital. Because so far it's just been Liz for a while now.
It has been Liz for a while, yeah. So Marco cries by Natalia's bedside. Sad. I feel bad for him.
Yeah, he had a complicated relationship with his mother, but he loved her, and now he's never going to have a chance to fix it because she's dead.
Yeah, and
he also feels super guilty because he didn't think he left early enough, and then he stopped to save Christina, and he doesn't know if he got there earlier, he would have been able to save Natalia.
Yeah.
That's a lot of guilt for one guy.
Yeah, I know. So Marco finds out that Natalia was seeking Sunny out of the christening, and he accuses Sunny of her murder. So Marco doesn't have proof, but he thinks it's pretty obvious. Lucas stops Marco from spilling that he knew about Natalia's plan to flee the country. So Marco thanked him privately. Sunny's
privately in the same hospital, 2 feet from the people who just asked him the question, "What are we doing?"
Yeah, Sunny's henchman is caught on the security camera outside Natalia's hotel suite at the Metroport, and Anna hints this is not good news for Sunny. So
right.
We're at Sunny's house, and he talks to Jason about how he planned to respond to the attack at Charlie's pub. Sunny assumes Sidwell is responsible, which he is correct, and he said he wanted to an eye for an eye. And
yeah, that guy literally stood there after Marco saved his daughter's life and said, "Well, we'll just kill Marco. That's fair." And Jason's like, "Are you serious? She just saved Christina's life." And he's like, "Well, I got to do what I got to do." And I'm like, "This is your hero, fans of Sunny. This is your hero."
And Sunny's never went after the children of his enemies that I'm aware of.
No. Normally he goes right to you.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't think that, I think the sun's up. I don't know why he's thinking this. This is not his.
Different writers. I mean, he's the villain. I don't know why you want to you can't, what are you polishing this rock? He's a bad guy.
Yeah. So then Anna shows up with updates on Natalia's demise and takes Sunny in for questioning because he is now a person of interest in the crime. Suspected crime. I don't think they know for sure yet if it was a crime.
Because nobody did a talk screen. Did you notice they constantly kept saying autopsy and then somebody said preliminary tests?
Yes.
Did you see them do? I know they didn't do anything, but they didn't do a toxicology screen. They're going to do an autopsy.
Right.
There's not a mark on her.
Mm-hmm. So Marco's getting examined at the hospital as Lucas calls Sidwell to let him know about Natalia's death. Sidwell comes running to comfort Marco and reels when he finds out that Marco put his own life to save Christina. Marco points out that he saved Sonny's daughter while Sonny is to blame for losing his mother. This left Sidwell wondering how Sonny is connected to Natalia's death. So, and I thought Sidwell did a great job in that scene.
All done with face work, right?
Yeah.
Because he did just expressions on his face. He did an amazing job of conveying his sudden confusion at how Sonny was involved in Natalia's death.
Yeah.
Also, he was so caring. Like, he's such a, this is the same thing. You know, Sonny's a monster, but he's a great dad. Great dad. Like Sidwell is really good to his son, Marco.
He is. He's a better parent than Natalia ever was.
He's a better parent than he is person. Like, he's obviously a horrible person. I like that these men are complicated.
Yeah.
Even Natalia, she's very complicated. She loves her children, but she doesn't know how to love them properly.
Right. Exactly.
And that's why she sucks. And she's dead now.
Yes. So we're at the Parmay Mansion, and Brooklyn fills Tracy in about Sonny's dirty deception investment, and Tracy is not happy, and she says, "I hate to say I told you so." Chase then arrives, and he spills this. He tells them about the fire at Charlie's and Natalia being dead. Tracy is determined to keep Gia away from Sonny since it isn't safe to be around him. So I'm glad we got back to this storyline. So Emma has Outback the dog with her, and she pushed Gio back to hold off on his decision to drop out of PCU. Gio's heart is not in music anymore, but she thought that he might feel differently in the fall, and he could at least find something new that he likes. Emma eventually mentors Professor Dalton and how she might have to resort to drastic measures to get inside his lab. So Gio guessed that she might do something illegal. So we're back with Lucas, and he quizzed Elizabeth about Natalia's overdose and worried a mob war would soon start. It would put Lucas's family and Marco's family on opposing sides.
Yep, mob war. We're coming into a mob war.
Yep. And I kind of like that. I didn't even think about that until
as soon as they said it, I'm like, oop, Romeo and Juliet with the guys.
I love it. I actually love it. I think it's great.
I like it. I think it's going to add an interesting dynamic to their relationship. Absolutely. Although, I must say, still Team Brad.
Yeah, I know you.
And forever and always.
I'm kind of more on Marco.
I love Marco, but I love Brad more.
Yeah. So we're outside the pub, and Jocelyn goes on a Sonny-related tirade and admits to Vaughn that she took the job at the WSB so she could take Sonny down. And she was amazing in that scene, and I really liked her in that scene a lot. Vaughn realizes that Jocelyn wants to climb up the WSB ladder to take Sonny down, which we just mentioned, and he thinks it's a worthy goal.
I hate Vaughn. I hate him. Who cares what you think, Vaughn? Why do you get to decide who has and who doesn't have worthy causes? And then she's like, what's your worthy cause? And he's like, I'll tell you when we know each other better. I hate you, Vaughn. You suck.
So I remember when you texted me and you said all these Rachel thoughts about Jocelyn being pulled into a kiss by Vaughn.
I was like, this is a 10 out of 10 week. Enter Vaughn. We hate him. I just, everything about him is gross.
Right. Oh, okay. This is the story I thought was glad we were getting back to, not the one we talked, not Em and Gio. Like, I do like them, but this is the one I was glad they got back to. The when Emma shows up to see Rocco and Danny, and then Rocco had Britt questions.
Oh, the one where you were like, what the heck happened? They just skipped right past it. I'm like, I'll flash back to it later.
Yeah, I'm glad they got back to it. I love when Emma goes on a rant about the Britch, and she also calls her the Wicked Witch of Westbourne or something like that.
No, I don't know. It just doesn't feel as real with it not being the original actress, but she did a good job with it.
She did do it. It would have been funnier if it was the original actress.
It is funny, though, because like she has left, and Britt went through all this character development while she was gone, so she still thinks of her as the Wicked Witch of the West.
Yeah, she doesn't know that Britt's a different person now, so.
We all evolve.
Yeah.
Well, most of us.
So she mentions how Britt got herself pregnant supposedly with her father's baby. And then it dawns on Emma that Rocco was the baby involved. So he ultimately pushes him to get more answers from his parents.
Yeah, Britt was desperate to keep a hold of Patrick. So she stole the embryo that was Rocco, which was obviously Dante and Lulu's embryo. So I really don't see the point of this, but sure.
Yeah.
Who cares if someone else was your surrogate?
So we have a temp Maxie this week. Temp Maxie gets updates from Brooklyn about Sunny inadvertently dirty investment and deception. Maxie also gets the news about Natalia's death and debates with Brooklyn about what they need to do about the Sunny situation with deception.
Temporary Maxie has great hair, and she does a good job trying to impersonate Maxie's inflections.
Yeah, she was really good. I like.
What's her name? Do you know what her name was?
Nicole Paggi.
Okay, well, she did great.
She was on Hope and Faith in the 2000s. She's a daughter. The Kelly Ripa Show. I don't know if you remember it.
No.
It was on ABC in the 2000s. Okay. Anyway, so when Maxie picks up a file, it turns out to be the file containing Brooklyn's research on Brit.
She does exactly what we wanted her to do. She was like, no, hold on, our other problems. What is this? What are we doing?
And I thought she did a good job. That's something like Kristen Storm's Maxie would, then her reaction was exactly what Kristen.
Yeah, she did. Really. Like, I mean, it sucks every time they have to do a recast, but they do a good job with these temporary recasts. I always have a fun time with them.
Yeah, I agree. They always do a great job with the temps. Brooklyn confessed that this is her payback against Lulu, but she can't go through with it because she doesn't want to hurt Rocco. And I liked that. I like that Brooklyn did it.
Too late.
It is too late.
It already happened. Everything she wanted to do, she already did. She can't take it back now.
True. She doesn't realize that Rocco saw the file already.
She should never have thought to do this in the first place.
Yeah, well, that's the reason I don't like it is because Lulu's going to be redeemed and look like, go after Brooklyn.
So funny. Lulu looks so good in other storylines, and in this storyline, she's just, you truly are the villain of somebody else's storyline sometimes.
Yeah, that's true. So we're at the Metrocorp pool. Willow interacts with Gio briefly before turning her attention to Kai and Trina. Willow sings Kai's praises when it comes to Drew and rescuing him at the press.
Trina's so uncomfortable. Did you clap that? She was like,
I loved her facial expressions the whole conversation.
Yeah, Taviana kills it every time.
And I forget there was like a moment right after Willow left, and she's like, listen to me.
She's like, listen to me. You do not want any of this. This is not for you. Yeah. And he's like, well, I already blah, blah, blah. And she's like, no, I'm trying to tell you, do not get into a quartermain fight. You will lose. And he's like, nah. And I'm just like, whatever, Kai. You've already betrayed Trina, so I don't like you anymore.
So, okay, well, we just talked about that. I can skip over that. So then Tracy shows up at the pool to speak with Gio, and he's very cold to her, what she should be, but I don't. So Tracy brings up the fire, and then Christina sustained major injuries and warns Gio that his life is in danger.
Nah. She lists out every single member of Sunny's family or extended family that is dead because of Sunny, including AJ. She was like, and Morgan and Christina's club and Michael. And she was funny earlier because she was desperate to protect Gio, and Gio's acting like a child. I think he is a child, so I guess it's fine. But like, she's like, come back to the house where we can protect you. And he's like, I don't need protecting. You just want to own me. Where did you even get that idea from? What is that idea from? That's what is this weird obsession that these Cirillo adjacent people have with like the Quartermain family, like putting you in a prison cell at the mansion and you can never leave? Like, they're so weird about it. Yet the Cirillos won't let you leave a room.
Yeah.
Like, this is projection.
Yep. So Michael brings Wiley to the Metrocorp for his swimming lesson, and he sees Willow.
Of course, Willow's lurking because she wants to see the kid.
Of course. And then Wiley goes off with his swimming instructor, and then Michael goes over to Willow, and he urges her to leave, but Willow does not listen. And Wiley sees her and runs over to hug his mom. Willow blames the judge for their time apart, and Michael lets Wiley know that they need to leave. Wiley is upset to be separated from his mom and complained about the judge to Michael. Okay, so what I want to say here is that Willow is going to lose her visitation if she keeps this up.
She's going to lose. She's going to lose because she's not following the court injunction. She's
No.
also going to marry Drew, and the judge was very against her focus on the relationship versus the children.
Yeah.
She's making all the wrong moves here.
Hmm.
It's a mess, and I almost feel bad for her, except she won't stop saying they're only her children, and Michael doesn't deserve to be anywhere near them.
Right. Michael can use this in court, like, very easily to deny her visitation.
He
So,
won't, though, because he doesn't want to deny her visitation. He just wants Drew to go away.
yeah, that's true. But if worst comes to worst, he can. But
He can.
yeah,
Well, he doesn't really have any proof unless he gets someone from the pool.
yeah. So at the PCPD, Turner urges Sonny to walk her through what happened with Natalia.
Don't
Turner,
talk to anyone without your lawyer present.
yeah, he does anyway. So Turner mentions the deal she struck with Natalia, and Sonny hints that she must be feeling guilty about Natalia's death. Turner suggests that he played a role in Natalia's demise, but Sonny argues that Natalia was dealing with her issues on her own. So we're at Lulu's house. She talks to Laura about all the mob drama and urges her to speak out against Sonny, which is an interesting development. When is Lulu like against Sonny? Like she always
She's not for him.
yeah, she's not for him, but she always, well, he's Dante's dad.
This isn't about her being against Sonny. This is about her being pro Laura. She's seeing the writing on the wall, and she's saying, Mom, if you want to get reelected, you need to distance yourself from all this nonsense, because now with the bar burning down, that's the second firebombing related to Sonny. Even if it's not directly his fault, this is the trouble he brings.
Right.
And Laura's point is, yeah, but Sidwell brings different trouble and might be worse trouble. Also, we're related by different family members, and I can't damage my integrity by cutting him off. And then how do I tell the children, oh, I'm sorry, Grandma can't hang out with Grandpa because he's evil? And the quick lesson is, yes, you can, and you should. You know?
Lulu's concerned about Laura falling behind in the polls.
Because Ezra's a scumbag.
Yeah, they can't let Ezra gain control of the mayor's office. And Lulu feels that Laura needs to be smart about what she does next. So Laura takes off, and then Rocco comes home, and Lulu is surprised when he asks her about Britt.
I don't like these confrontations so much, because like you see these little boys walk into these rooms to grown women and grown men and just start being so antagonistic. It's just like, all he had to do was walk in and be like, can you tell me about Britt Westbourne? And when she freaked out, be like, this is what I know. Like, it's not Britt. He's not Britt Westbourne's baby. She just gestated him and tried to kidnap an embryo from another woman.
Yeah.
This is not the love story of him having a bonus mom that he thinks it's going to turn into. And that's in the file he read. And also, if you wanted to know this information without confronting your mother, why didn't you just call Patrick?
Yeah.
He would have told you everything you wanted to know, and it would have been not emotionally charged. Obviously, it would have been boring for screen, but like you could have found out from Patrick.
Yeah. All right, so we're at Sonny's place, and Dante finds Jason there and brings up the arson being traced back to Selena, and Jason does not buy it. As we mentioned, he wouldn't buy it.
Jason's not dumb considering all the brain damage.
Yeah, he knows that this is Sidwell's frame for Sidwell framing her. So once he's alone, Jason makes a phone call and is prepared to make a move. I don't know where I guess he's making a move with somebody to find Sidwell. I'm not sure what that was about.
I don't know. He might want to meet up with Selena and find out what's going on.
Yeah.
So you might want to try and catch her before she leaves town. That's what I would do.
I would hope
I was head of the mob.
Yeah, so we're back.
If I were the head of the mob, I would be friends with Selena because she's the head of her own mob, and then we could have girl mob parties.
Yeah, so we're back with Laura, and she shows up at the police station to ask Sonny about Sidwell, and now the mob drama is starting to escalate, and the two families are about to go to war.
Mob war.
So that is how we ended the week. All right. Anything to add? Anything?
I think it was awesome the way that Tracy continuously remembers the wrongs that Sonny committed against the Quartermaine family. Now, a lot of people will be like, oh, why doesn't she let it go? Well, because Jason was her brother's son. Yeah. And AJ was, her nephew. And because all of these people deserved better.
Right.
And it was so funny because in the scene, she's like, I cannot believe that after all these years, that man can still reach into the heart of our family and hurt us. Like, this
Yeah.
is generational pain. And I thought that was really well written. And her speech about go look at the burnt out place, go look at the graveyard, go to the cemetery. Like, I was just like, wow, like that was very powerful. Whoever wrote those scenes is a genius.
Yeah.
And I love you. Because all week everybody was like, Sunny sucks.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that.
Yeah, maybe I was a little too harsh about this week. I didn't hate it. I mean, I never hate it.
You were distracted by the continuity errors.
Yeah.
It's the thing. I get distracted by the lack of good medical care. It's stupid. It's because I watched 15 seasons of ER and now I'm a TV doctor. So, but it drives me crazy not to see them. I get not doing CPR properly because you would crack somebody's ribs. But at the same time, that was so weak. And she didn't even have any IVs in. There weren't any monitors beeping. That was like, that gets me. So you're like, how can Lucas teleport? Like, that's the thing that got you.
Yeah. And also, there's another one. I don't know if you noticed it, but Sonny comes downstairs and says he and Wiley looked in on the baby, but the baby's in the living room in the bassinet.
I have a feeling that sometimes when they edit this together, they do it very quickly.
Yeah.
And maybe that scene was supposed to happen after Sasha finally gives in and says she's going to take the baby upstairs. Yeah. So like sometimes I feel like that the continuity errors happen because in editing they put the scenes in the wrong order.
That's definitely possible.
Or a different order to make other things make more sense, and then they miss that because they do these things very quickly.
That makes sense. Yeah.
And it is annoying because it does feel like people transport around town. But at the same time, we have 36 minutes. We got to get it done.
Yeah, it's true.
But no, always point it out. It's fun to talk about how people need to be able to fly.
Yeah, we did have an alien once.
Yes, I was going to say
it. I knew you would. That's why I said it. All right. All right. Well, we're going to head over to Patreon. We have a clip of the week to watch. So we'll discuss some speculation. There's also some interesting rumors happening in the GH rumor mill. So we'll talk about those. And we have the clip of the week nominees this week are Alexis says she cannot lose another daughter.
Cute.
Tracy hates on Sunny, which is
yay.
Marco sees Natalia dead, and Josh wants to take Sunny down. So
that scene would have been so great.
I know if it wasn't
except
for
Vaughn was in it.
I know.
What if they just stood there and never talked? That'd be fine.
Maybe.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Happy 4th of July. This will probably be airing on Sunday, but I hope you all have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.